The night on the alien planet was quiet, too quiet. The sky glowed with strange colors, a mixture of purple and green, painting the barren landscape in eerie light. The human explorer Mark adjusted his helmet and checked his equipment one more time. He had landed for what he thought would be a simple research mission, a routine night collecting samples from this distant world. Nothing could have prepared him for what was about to happen. As Mark walked through the ruins of an old city, he noticed movement out of the corner of his eye. He froze, his heartbeat quickening. Shadows danced among the broken structures, and a soft hum filled the air. He thought it might be one of the planet's harmless creatures. But then he saw her. A figure emerged from the darkness. She was unlike anything Mark had ever seen. Her skin shimmered faintly, reflecting the alien moonlight, and her eyes glowed with a soft, otherworldly light. She was slender, graceful, and moving as if she belonged to another world entirely, which, of course, she did. Mark took a cautious step forward. "Are you okay?" he asked, his voice cracking slightly. The girl tilted her head, studying him with curiosity. She spoke in a language he didn't understand, but somehow he felt her meaning. She was injured, her leg was bent awkwardly, and she moved slowly. Mark's instincts kicked in. He couldn't leave her there. Carefully, he approached her and offered his hand. She hesitated, then accepted it. To his surprise, she could walk a little on her own, leaning on him for support. Her touch was warm, almost human, and a strange connection sparked between them. "Do you need help?" Mark asked again, keeping his voice calm. She nodded, and a faint smile appeared on her lips. He led her to his small base, a temporary shelter built for one person. As they walked, he couldn't help but notice how unusual she was. Her movements were smooth and fluid, almost floating, yet there was a tension in her that suggested power. Inside the base, Mark examined her injuries. She didn't speak, but her eyes followed every move, intelligent and observant. For a moment, he felt like she was trying to understand him as much as he was trying to understand her. I thought this would be one night," Mark muttered to himself. "Just a simple mission." She tilted her head again, and then she said something in broken words, almost like she was choosing English carefully. "Stay forever?" Mark froze. The words were simple, but their meaning hit him like a shockwave. Stay forever with him? On this planet? He didn't know what to say. A million questions raced through his mind. Who was she? Why was she here? Could he trust her? Before he could answer, a sudden noise outside made them both turn. Something moved in the darkness, a creature, or maybe more than one. It didn't approach, but its presence was enough to remind Mark that this planet was dangerous. He glanced at the girl, who was now standing tall despite her earlier injury. Her eyes glowed brighter, and there was a confidence in her stance that he didn't understand. Whatever she was not helpless. Mark realized that this night, which he had thought would be simple, had already changed. He wasn't just an explorer anymore. He was involved in something bigger, something he didn't yet understand. And the alien girl, strange, beautiful, and mysterious, had just asked to stay forever. Mark took a deep breath. He didn't know what the future held, but one thing was clear. Nothing on this planet or in the universe was going to be the same again. The night grew darker. The wind whispered through the ruins. And somewhere deep in the shadows, a secret waited. And so, the unexpected encounter had begun. The alien girl sat quietly inside Mark's small base, her glowing eyes studying every corner. She was calm now, but an air of tension lingered around her. Mark watched her carefully, unsure what to expect. He wanted to ask questions, but every word felt heavy with the unknown. "Do you understand me?" he asked cautiously. She nodded slowly and pointed to a small device he had brought with him. It was a translator, experimental and crude, but it could help them communicate. As the device hummed to life, her words finally became clearer, broken but understandable. "My world. Danger comes," she said. Her voice was soft but firm, filled with urgency. They are looking for me." Mark's heart raced. "Who is looking for you? What do you mean?" She hesitated, choosing her words carefully. "My people, not all. Good. Some want to take me back. Destroy your kind if I stop them." Mark swallowed hard. His mind spun. Humans? Destroyed? He had come here thinking this night would be simple, maybe even exciting. But now he realized the danger was far greater than he imagined. "I don't know if I can trust you," he admitted, keeping his voice steady despite the fear building inside him. "How do I know you're not lying?" She looked at him, her glowing eyes reflecting a mixture of sadness and honesty. "I need you. Learn, humans. Understand." Mark nodded slowly. He didn't fully understand her motives, but something in her words felt true. She wasn't just a visitor or a spy, she was curious. Drawn to humans for a reason he didn't yet grasp, that he decided to take a risk. "Okay, we'll figure this out together. For tonight." As they began to talk, the alien girl revealed fragments of her world. She described cities that floated above oceans of light, creatures that moved faster than sound, and technologies that bent reality itself. Every word painted a picture of a civilization far beyond anything Mark had seen. Yet, despite her power and knowledge, there was something familiar in her fascination with humans, their courage, their cleverness, and their ability to survive against the odds. For a moment, Mark felt a strange connection. Here was a being from another world, yet she seemed to see something special in him and in humanity. Then, without warning, a soft vibration ran through the base. A small screen flickered, showing a distant signal, an alien ship moving toward their location. Mark's pulse quickened. "They're coming," he muttered. The girl's eyes widened slightly. "They can track me. If they find humans, danger." Mark realized that she had been completely honest. This wasn't just a story, this was real. Their night of curiosity and cautious trust had just turned into a race for survival. Despite the fear, there was an unspoken bond forming between them. She trusted him enough to reveal her secrets, and he felt a responsibility to protect her. It was a strange connection, one that went beyond words, beyond species. As the wind howled outside, Mark prepared for the unknown. He checked his weapons, tightened his gear, and glanced at the alien girl, who now seemed ready for whatever was coming. Her glowing eyes met his, filled with determination and something else, hope. "You think they will come for me?" he asked softly. "They may," she replied. "But if you help, we survive." Mark nodded. He didn't know what the night would bring, but he knew one thing. This encounter was no longer just a meeting. It was the start of something far bigger. A night that began with curiosity had turned into a test of courage, trust, and survival, and neither of them would ever be the same again. Outside, the wind carried whispers through the alien ruins, and far above, ships moved silently through the glowing sky. The game had begun, and Mark and the alien girl were at its center. The night stretched on, full of secrets, tension, and unspoken questions. And for Mark, the real story was just beginning. The alien night grew colder, the wind whispering through the ruins like a warning. Mark could feel the weight of every shadow around him. The signal on his device had grown stronger. Ships were closing in, moving silently above the alien terrain. He glanced at the alien girl. Her eyes glowed softly, calm and alert at the same time. But there was a tension he couldn't miss. "We need to be careful," he whispered. She nodded, stepping closer. "They watch. Always." Mark couldn't shake the feeling that the night itself was alive, watching, waiting. Every step he took felt measured, calculated. He had to protect her, but he didn't yet understand what she was capable of or what she might do if things turned violent. Then it happened. A low, guttural growl echoed from the shadows. A creature larger than any human had ever seen emerged from the ruins. Its skin was dark and rough, glinting under the alien lights. Multiple eyes scanned the area, fixing on them. Mark froze for a moment, fear gripping him. But the alien girl moved first. With grace that seemed impossible, she stepped forward. A soft glow emanated from her hands, and with a swift motion, beams of light shot out, striking the creature. It roared and staggered, retreating slightly. Mark's jaw dropped. How? What was that? He breathed. She didn't answer with words. Instead, she turned to him, her expression calm, almost teasing. I protect. Mark realized then that her abilities were far beyond anything he had imagined. She was not just intelligent and alien, she was powerful. And yet, despite her strength, there was something human in the way she looked at him, as if trusting him to understand her. They moved quickly, silently, deeper into the ruins. Every sound, every shadow, felt like a threat. The signal on Mark's device pulsed faster. Drones were nearby. He could hear the faint hum of their engines in the distance. Can they find us? He asked quietly. Yes, if careless, she replied. Mark tightened his grip on his equipment. He had thought he was prepared for alien life, but nothing had prepared him for this creature's attacking. Advanced technology tracking them, and an alien girl who seemed both vulnerable and unstoppable. As they hid in the shadows, Mark tried to understand her. She was different from anything he had ever met, yet there was a bond forming. He felt protective, drawn to her in ways he couldn't explain. She seemed to notice, for her eyes softened, and she placed a hand briefly on his arm, a gesture that was both comforting and electric. Suddenly, a drone appeared at the edge of the ruins, scanning the area. The girl's glow flared brighter, a warning, and the drone retreated, avoiding them entirely. Mark's heart pounded. Why? Are you helping me? He asked, still breathless. Because humans, interesting. Brave, she said simply. Mark swallowed hard. Humans, brave? She saw something in him, in them, that even he hadn't recognized yet. Despite the danger, despite the unknown, she trusted him enough to fight by his side. The night dragged on, each moment heavier than the last. Creatures moved, drones hovered, and the ruins seemed to shift around them, full of secrets and danger. But through it all, the alien girl stayed close, guiding, protecting, and teaching him in subtle ways. By the time the first pale light of the alien dawn began to touch the horizon, Mark realized the truth. This night was no ordinary night. It was a test of courage, trust, and survival. And for the first time, he understood the weight of what the alien girl had asked him: to stay with her, to protect her, and maybe even to change the course of his life forever. Above them, ships lingered, unseen but threatening. Below, the ruins whispered of secrets waiting to be discovered. And in the middle of it all, Mark and the alien girl, prepared for what would come next. The night of tension was far from over. The alien sun had barely begun to rise, casting long shadows across the ruined city, but the danger was far from over. Mark and the alien girl crouched in the remains of a shattered building, listening. The hum of distant engines and the whisper of the wind through broken towers made the air feel alive. Tense and threatening. They're close, she whispered, her glowing eyes scanning the horizon. Mark followed her gaze and saw them ships, sleek and dark, moving silently above the planet's surface. These were no ordinary vessels. Their shapes were sharp, angular, and unmistakably hostile. His stomach tightened. Whatever force had been tracking them was here, and it had come with one purpose: to capture her. They're from your world? He asked cautiously, still catching his breath from the previous night's encounters. She nodded. Yes, some. Not all. Good. They want me. Return. or destroy. Mark's mind raced. The alien girl had warned him about danger, but seeing it now was different. The ships were far too advanced for him to fight alone. His weapons, his knowledge, and his courage might not be enough. "We can't stay here," he said, urgency creeping into his voice. "If they find us, it's over." She turned to him, her expression unreadable yet firm. "We move. Underground tunnels. Safer." Mark followed without hesitation. Every step through the ruins was measured, careful. The ground was unstable, debris scattered like broken teeth across the city. Shadows shifted unnaturally as they moved. Every corner, every turn could hide a threat dot as they reached the entrance to the underground tunnels. The hum of the ships above grew louder, closer. A beam of light swept across the ruins, searching. Mark froze, heart pounding. The girl placed a hand on his shoulder. "Hide." Now. They pressed against the wall, barely breathing as the light passed over them. Mark couldn't believe how powerful these intruders were. Yet, the alien girl remained calm, confident in ways he couldn't understand. She whispered instructions, simple and precise, guiding him through the twisting tunnels that seemed to go on forever. Once they were deeper underground, Mark finally allowed himself to speak. "Who are they? What will they do if they catch you?" "They do not care. Humans only." "Me," she said softly. "But if humans protect danger." Mark understood. If they were discovered, it could bring a disaster to Earth or any human colonies nearby. The stakes were higher than he had ever imagined. He glanced at her, a strange mixture of fear and admiration in his chest. Despite being alien, she had chosen him, trusted him, and now he had to live up to that trust. Suddenly, the tunnels shook. Dust fell from the ceiling, and faint lights flickered from above. The ships were scanning, probing, searching relentlessly. Mark gripped his equipment tightly, but the girl's glow illuminated the path ahead. She moved with purpose, her steps almost floating above the cracked stone floors. "Why stay?" he asked quietly, curiosity and concern mixing in his voice. Her eyes met his, glowing brighter in the darkness. "Because humans. Different. Brave. Clever. Care. I like." Mark felt a jolt of emotion he couldn't describe. This being, from another world, saw value in humans, saw strength, courage, and heart that even he sometimes doubted. It was more than admiration. It was trust, connection, and something growing between them that he didn't yet understand. The tunnels stretched on, winding deeper, hiding them from the ships above. But Mark knew one thing for certain. This was no ordinary night. The alien girl had brought him into a story far larger than himself, a story of danger, courage, and survival. And the hidden threat above wasn't going away anytime soon. Outside, the alien sun rose higher, but its light couldn't reach the darkness below. In that darkness, Mark and the girl prepared themselves for the challenges ahead. Their next move would be critical. One wrong step could change everything. The hidden threat was no longer a warning. It was real, and it was coming for them. The tunnels beneath the ruined city were dark and twisting, but Mark followed the alien girl without hesitation. Every step echoed softly, and every shadow seemed alive. Above them, the alien ships scanned relentlessly, their beams cutting through the ruins in search of their target. Mark's heart pounded. "Do you know where we're going?" he whispered, his voice barely audible. She nodded, her glowing eyes leading the way. "Yes." Tunnels end. Safe. The tunnels opened into a vast cavern. Crystals lined the walls, glowing faintly with an inner light, casting an ethereal glow across the space. The girl stopped for a moment, turning to him. "Rest. Little. Danger. Still near." Mark sank to the ground, trying to catch his breath. He was exhausted, terrified, but also amazed. The alien girl moved with a grace he could never imitate, her glow pulsing softly as if sensing his fear and trying to calm it. "You're incredible," he said, shaking his head. "How can you do all this?" She smiled faintly, almost shyly. "I learn. Protect. Survive." Mark stared at her. Protect? Survive? Her abilities weren't just for herself. They were for him, for humans. And for a fleeting moment, he felt a deep connection, stronger than anything he had felt before. Suddenly, the cavern walls vibrated. Small drones, sent by the alien ships, slipped into the tunnels. Their mechanical bodies hummed as they scanned the space. The girl's glow flared bright, casting light across the cavern. With a swift motion, she activated a device she had carried with her, and energy beams shot out, disabling the drones instantly. Mark's jaw dropped. "You're unstoppable." She glanced at him, her expression serious now. "We must move. They not done." They ran deeper into the tunnels, moving faster than Mark ever thought possible. The alien girl led him through hidden passages, across underground streams, and past glowing fungal forests that seemed alive. Every turn revealed a new wonder, and every step reminded Mark of the vastness and danger of this world. After what felt like hours, they finally emerged into a hidden valley. Sunlight streamed down, and the alien girl paused, turning to him with a strange look in her glowing eyes. "Mark." "Truth," she said softly. "I choose. Come here, not forced. Curiosity. Humans, strong. Heart. Brave. I like." Mark's chest tightened. She was admitting something incredible. She had chosen to come to him, to this planet, because of humans, their bravery, cleverness, and heart. She was fascinated by them, and perhaps even drawn to him personally. He looked at her, trying to find words. You could go back. You don't have to stay with me. You could leave and be safe." She shook her head slowly, her glow softening. "I want. Stay, learn. Humans with you." Mark realized in that moment that the night had changed him forever. What had started as a simple exploration mission had become a journey of trust, connection, and survival. She wasn't just an alien visitor, she was someone who had chosen him and humans as her allies, her friends. Perhaps something more. Suddenly, a distant rumble reminded them that the enemy was not gone. The ships above had not given up, and the tunnels had only delayed their pursuit. But Mark felt a surge of determination. With her by his side, and with the courage of humans behind him, he believed they could survive anything. The alien girl looked at him, her glowing eyes full of trust. "Together. Survive?" Mark nodded. "Together." And with that, they disappeared into the hidden valley, ready to face the dangers ahead, stronger together than they had ever been apart. The night of terror had revealed secrets, strength, and connection, but the story was far from over. The enemy would return, and the choices they made next would decide not just their lives, but perhaps the fate of entire worlds. The hidden valley offered a brief moment of calm. Sunlight filtered through alien foliage, casting patterns of light and shadow across the ground. For the first time in what felt like hours, Mark allowed himself to breathe. The alien girl sat beside him, her glow dimming to a soft, comforting hue. But even in the quiet, he knew the danger was far from gone. "They will come," she said softly, her voice carrying the weight of certainty. Mark nodded. "I know, but we're ready, aren't we?" Her eyes, glowing brighter now, looked at him with something almost human: fear, trust, and something deeper. "Choice, now," she whispered. "I stay or leave." Mark felt his heart tighten. Stay? Leave? He had thought of this night as temporary, just a brief encounter with a mysterious being. But now she was asking something far more important, something that could change their lives forever, Stay, he said immediately, the word escaping before he could stop it. Stay with me. Stay here with humans. You're safe with us. I promise. She shook her head slowly. If, stay. Danger. More. Humans not ready. For my people. Mark's mind raced. He understood the risk. Her people were powerful, advanced, and capable of destroying entire human colonies if provoked. But he also knew something else: humans were not helpless. They were clever, brave, and capable of more than anyone, even aliens, often realized. You're underestimating us, he said firmly. Humans can protect you. And I'll do everything I can to help. We'll face them together. The alien girl looked at him, studying him carefully. Her glowing eyes softened. Trust you? Mark took a deep breath. Yes, trust me. Trust humans. You're not alone. She remained silent for a long moment. Then slowly she nodded. I stay. Forever? Mark's chest tightened with emotion. Forever, he replied, his voice steady, though his heart raced. In that moment, the air seemed to shift. The distant hum of approaching ships grew louder, closer, but there was a new energy now, one of determination, courage, and connection. Mark and the alien girl were no longer simply running. They were standing together, ready to face whatever came next. The girl rose, her glow brightening to full strength. She moved beside Mark with confidence, her presence both reassuring and powerful. We fight together, she said. Mark smiled, feeling a surge of pride and hope. Humans had always faced impossible odds, and this night was no different. With her by his side, he knew they could overcome the threat, whatever it might be. Above them, the first alien ship appeared, scanning the valley with beams of light. Mark gripped his equipment tightly, but he no longer felt helpless. He had allies, not just the alien girl, but the strength and courage of humanity behind him. She touched his arm briefly, a gesture that felt like both comfort and promise. Ready? She asked. Always, he said. The ships descended, shadows against the rising sun, but Mark and the alien girl stood firm. The night of terror, flight, and uncertainty had led them here, to a moment of choice, courage, and trust. And whatever came next, they would face it together. In that quiet before the storm, Mark realized the truth. This was not just about survival. It was about connection, bravery, and the courage to make choices that mattered, not just for themselves, but for the future of humans and perhaps the universe itself. The ultimate choice had been made. She would stay. And together, they would fight, survive, and perhaps even thrive, against threats beyond anything they had ever imagined. Above, the ship circled, waiting. Below, humans and an alien girl prepared for a confrontation that would test everything they believed about strength, trust, and courage. The story was reaching its peak, and nothing would ever be the same again. The alien ships hovered above the hidden valley, their dark silhouettes cutting sharply against the pale morning sky. Mark stood beside the alien girl, his pulse steady now, his fear replaced with determination. She glowed brightly, a beacon of power and trust, and together, they faced the approaching threat. They are coming, Mark said quietly. Though he no longer sounded afraid, the girl's eyes met his. Together. Survive? Together, he confirmed. Without warning, the first ship descended, scanning the valley with piercing beams. Mechanical drones spilled out, moving quickly toward them. But Mark and the girl did not flinch. With her abilities and his quick thinking, they set traps, using the terrain and debris to their advantage. The drones faltered, some disabled by her glowing energy, others tangled in makeshift snares Mark had prepared. Mark couldn't help but marvel at her skill. She was alien in every sense, yet there was a rhythm to her movements, a synergy between them that made them almost unstoppable. He realized something crucial. Humans were at their best not because of their weapons, but because of their courage, adaptability, and unity. The larger ships remained in the sky, scanning, but they seemed hesitant. Perhaps they underestimated humans, or perhaps they had never seen an alien and human fight together with such trust and precision. "We can do this," Mark whispered to her. She nodded, her glow intensifying. "Yes, together." Hours seemed to pass in minutes. They moved through the valley with precision, disabling drones, avoiding detection, and forcing the alien ships to reconsider. Mark's mind raced, planning, reacting, surviving. And she was always there beside him, guiding, protecting, and fighting alongside him. Finally, the ships hovered higher, retreating slightly, and the drones stopped advancing. The alien girl exhaled softly, her glow dimming as the immediate threat passed. Mark let out a long breath, finally allowing himself to relax, though his body still thrummed with adrenaline. "You safe?" he asked. She smiled faintly. "Yes, thanks." Humans. Mark realized then that the night's journey had changed everything. She had chosen humanity, chosen him, and together they had shown that humans were brave, clever, and capable of standing against threats far beyond their technology. They had earned her trust, and in return, she had risked herself to stay. The valley was quiet now, the danger gone, at least for the moment. The alien girl turned to him, her glowing eyes softening. "I stay. Forever?" Mark smiled, feeling a warmth in his chest he had never known. "Yes," he said firmly. "Forever." For a moment, the two stood silently, gazing at the horizon where the alien sun rose higher, casting light across the valley. The world felt alive, full of possibilities. And for the first time, Mark realized that this night, which had begun as a simple mission, had become the start of a new chapter, not just for him, but for humanity and this alien girl who had chosen to trust them. She reached for his hand. A small gesture, but one that spoke volumes. Together, they walked toward the remnants of the ruins, knowing that danger could return, but confident that they would face it together. Above them, the ships disappeared into the sky, leaving only the whisper of wind through the alien foliage. Mark looked at the girl, her glow faint but steady, and realized something extraordinary. Humans, with courage and heart, could earn trust, friendship, and even love from beings far beyond their understanding. The alien girl leaned close and whispered softly, almost to herself, but loud enough for Mark to hear, "This, just beginning." Mark smiled, squeezing her hand. Whatever came next, they would face it together, forever. And as the sun fully rose over the alien horizon, it wasn't just the start of a new day, it was the start of a new life. A new alliance, and a new story of courage, trust, and unity between worlds. The adventure had ended, but the legend of humans and their alien ally would live on.